Hello Tenno, welcome to another Warframe video. This is BagHead, and today in this video I'm going to talk about Follie, her signature weapon, her abilities, and how can you obtain her when the update Shadowgrapher drops at March 25th. This is quite a time to wait. It's like 3 weeks it's like 3 weeks. So while in these 3 weeks, let me quickly give you guys info on what does the Follie do, how insane her kit is, and how can you obtain her, and the event that will come with her release. Anyways, let's get on with it. So Foley has an alternative helmet. Let me quickly mention that as well. This will be her alternative helmet that will be released with her, and it will be probably similar to like other Warframes, 75 to 90 plat. So let me quickly talk about her signature weapon as well, and that signature weapon is actually going to be a beam weapon. Foley's signature rifle is called Encause. What I understand from it is it has an alter fire, and Encause, or I think the alter fire is going to ink people, and when you shoot them with the primary fire, it will dissolve and disintegrate any enemies that are inked and in a certain HP threshold. What that means is if you ink enemies with this weapon or Foley's abilities, it will have an execute, which is quite insane. And considering this is a beam weapon as well, and it seems like it's going to be a battery type rifle, which means it won't have reserve ammo. And I think you will get ammo from killing enemies, which it says in the um, explanation segment in the top left section of the video. Which what that means is you will constantly execute enemies by putting them in a certain HP threshold. If you're not using it fully, I'm assuming the alt fire is gonna throw the ink blood probably to ink the enemies. And when you like dissolve enemies, it will constantly recharge the ammo, like the magazine of Encause, letting you shoot it forever and ever. We're not exactly revealed like how strong the weapon is. They do shoot the enemies, but like it's kind of hard to tell from simulacrum stuff, and simulacrum can be bugged in its own way as well. So the gameplay and the stats showcase might not be exactly accurate. So we will have to wait and see how strong Encause is. But we can see the stats here, unless this is built, which I'm assuming it's built because the critical damage is set to be like 54% here, and that will be a bit too stronger than Kuwait Shakur's um, default crit chance being 50%. Like that would be quite insane if that's how it is. It might be like that. And the critical damage is probably not 5.2, maybe it's something lower. It seems to have a really low status chance, which is 18%. So I'm assuming this will be more crit focused weapon. And it has corrosive. This might be built, but it has corrosive from the default, like innate corrosive. That would be quite awesome. You mean you can go viral corrosive to deal insane amount of damage and keep on firing as your heart content as long as you're killing enemies. The fire rate seems to be 13.5. That seems to be fast. Its multi-shot is 1.9. The magazine is 60, so that's and the reload is 2.2. So I'm assuming this has a reload animation, or maybe that's how long it takes to recharge. Like you know how the bullets recharge on Bibonico. Maybe that's how long it takes to recharge. And the trigger is held because it's a beam weapon. You just keep firing. I'm interested to see the power of this weapon. So anyways, let's get started with Foley's abilities. So first of all, we have Foley's passive. Foley's passive is your abilities ink people, ink enemies, and when you kill those, and these inked enemies are slowed down, which is pretty cool. And when you kill these inked enemies, they will drop energy orbs and health orbs, from what I understand. It might be just energy orbs as well. And I honestly think this is a great way to self-sustain. So it can already be like a way to not use arcane energize the moment you unlock this Warframe. You just have an energy sustain from the get-go, so you can alternate between maybe using Energize as a plan B, or you can just use yellow Archon shards for energy orb effectiveness. Or if it drops both orbs, like I think they say either energy orbs or both orbs. If it drops both energy and health orbs, that means you can use equilibrium instead of primed flow or flow. It's just like there can be many build options, and I like that versatility. And it's quite cool to see another new Warframe having self-sustain, similar to how Uriel has with one of his demons. Follie's first ability is a mobility ability. This cleanses status on her. It doesn't have that much of a long range. It teleports her around. It has a really low cost, so you can spam this. It makes her invulnerable, which you can see by the gray HP, and I think that stays for a bit. And it's an easy way to, like I said, ink enemies up, which feeds onto her passive. And I think this ability is pretty cool. It's like an upgraded version of Hydroid, because Hydroid has that tidal wave ability. And so basically, that means you basically have a different version of Hydroid's tidal wave where you can cleanse the status on you if there's an Eximus that burning you, or explode, put some explosive procs on you, and you can just traverse around, making enemies not shoot you. And having invulnerability is again another great way for self-sustain. So even from the first ability, she seems pretty good. But now things are gonna get a little bit crazy because our second ability is actually pretty insane. And since this is dev stream clip, these are all subject to change. So the second ability might be balanced, might get balanced in a way that isn't exactly the same as it's shown in the dev stream. Alright, Follie's second ability. It opens a gear wheel with symbols, which I will get into. All of these symbols are basically map items that you can summon and use. The damage of these items scale with your strength. So we only shown some of these items, but from what I've seen, they can be explosive barrel, amphors. I think I've seen conduit keys as well, survival capsules, the light child that is in Zerman that can ping you like important things in the map. Yeah, it just pings you like, oh, there's an item there. You know what I mean? Termin RPG, that orb, the electroshock mine. I'm pretty sure I saw an excavation battery there as well. So basically, he summons bunch of map items you would see in other missions, etc. And the damaging items can scale with your strength, so they deal damage instead of tickling the enemy, which is also pretty good. And she can even summon a lock surge, which can give you and your allies, the entire team, buffs. But I think the infinite ammo one might be get removed because it's kind of too broken in combination with Termin RPG. So, considering how big this gear wheel is, this is probably one of the most insane abilities ever, because like you can just summon any map item. And like I said, it's probably gonna get balanced, because if it's true that you can summon conduit keys, which are needed for disruption mode, you can just play with 4 follies, or maybe just 1 folly, which summons 4 keys, and you just immediately do the rounds. So this might be a little bit too strong. But in my opinion, this is one of the most creative abilities I've seen from a new Warframe, and I'm quite excited to see. However, the ability 2 doesn't end up here. As you can see, the symbols of the ability look drawn. This is not a flavor thing just for Folly. Actually, you draw the symbols in the gear wheel. Let me quickly show that. In the Arsenal tab, when you check Folly, there should be like a sketchbook segment that you can pick. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. There's the shadow graph. This is the sketchbook. And then you just go to the gear wheel. You just click on whichever item you want to draw a symbol for, and this menu opens. This is, I don't know if this is like paint, but there are like brushes, symbols, shapes you can use to draw, which is pretty cool. And this is basically how we're gonna draw the items. It can be anything you want. However, there's one catch. When Foley releases, it is not allowed to draw anything not safe for work or explicit on this sketchbook, or your account might get flagged or get banned. Similar to how when people name their weapons or companions something that is against the terms of service or the rules of the game, they might get flagged and banned. So be careful what you draw when you draw any symbols for these abilities on the gear wheel. But other than that, in my opinion, this ability is going to be one of the most fun abilities in the entire game. It makes Folly extremely unique and extremely interesting utility tool because, like I said, this ability probably gonna get balanced. It's gonna be shaped around the edges a little bit, so I don't think it's gonna be as crazy as how it's looked in dev stream. But even then, the utility this ability can give is almost endless because it can even summon like turrets from Void Armageddon game mode, or it can summon a defense target, which basically taunts the enemies and makes them shoot the target, similar to Loki's decoy. So, in my opinion, this is one of the most unique and most interesting abilities I've ever seen, and this is one of the ways that how Folly becomes extremely fun. Anyways, this is the breakdown of the second ability. Let's get on with the third ability. Alright, so Folly's third ability spawns an ink clone. When you kill enemies around it, it gives you increasing damage reduction, and this Folly clone grows and grows and grows. What I understand from it, the range of this damage reduction is really high, so you don't have to be stationary next to this ink clone, but like the range is probably like 30 meters, and I'm assuming when you kill enemies with the size of the ink statue, the area of the damage reduction will also increase. So maybe it can get up to like 40 meters or 50 meters, which is pretty cool. But like I said, the damage reduction increases with the kills, and I'm assuming the range of the damage reduction will increase with kills as well. Pretty cool self-sustaining ability similar to her 1. So if you're not immortal by her 1, you can use this ability to have a damage reduction. And her 4 ability is, as you can see, is balloons. Compared to her kit, it's kind of seems a bit dull because what you do is you put the enemies up in air, and when you shoot the balloons, the fall damage kills them. This ability might get balanced on how much damage it will deal when the enemies fall. Oh, by the way, when enemies are suspended in the air by the balloons, they get armor stripped. And that's about it for her fourth ability. Like it's a pretty interesting ability. I don't know how well this will work in a team environment, considering 4 people shooting at everything, killing everything. I don't know if they will even give you the chance to armor strip the enemies. And we don't exactly know how this will work against elite enemies such as Steel Path Acolytes, bosses, um, tracks. I mean, to be honest, it's probably gonna work like regular Eximus and tracks units. So basically, when you destroy their overguard, the balloons will make them suspend. So it's an interesting ability. I like the uniqueness of it. I like how you can kill enemies with the full damage, and the utility it comes with by armor stripping the enemies is pretty neat. All right. So what do I personally think about Folly? Like the pure strength of this Warframe. In my opinion, this will be a Warframe that has a huge amount of utility in certain game modes, and in most of the game modes, she will be really helpful. And her kit itself seems like really fun, and I'm genuinely hoping this Warframe doesn't fall into that pitfall of unique kit but becomes niche and falls to obscurity. Because I actually want Foley to be a staple member of the team most of the time. Because usually what happens with new Warframes is they usually have a honeymoon phase where they are really fun and played a lot, but later on people drop them to go back to their Revenants, Wukongs, um, no, Nyxes, like whatever popular Warframes are, like Volts, etc. Like I'm not blaming people for having mains, but I just like want to see new Warframes being, played more, being more popular, and not fell into obscurity because certain meta Warframes are usually better. Because I actually since like Uriel and Noko, they've been not missing with these new Warframe kits. Like, and I gotta say, Folly is probably the most unique Warframe by kit, considering her second ability having like insane amount of utility with that gear wheel, and adding a new feature which is painting the symbols of an ability. Like, I quite like it. So, in my opinion, I'm gonna get Folly day one. She has a really unique and a utility-filled kit, and I can't wait to play her. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. And she has a really unique design. I really like her default and alternative helmet. Well, this was BagHead with the news for Falling. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment if you're excited for Foley, or what else are you excited for the update coming in March 25th. And I see you, Tenno, in the next video.